Hello, everyone. It's Mary Beth from mbgraydesigns. So I was live. I don't remember. I don't think it was last weekend, but last week sometime. And we were making a mini album using Chasing Dreams because you guys picked it out. Hey, Denise. So if you're watching the replay, you might want to fast forward a little bit so I can give some folks some time to join. Hey, Jenny. Hi, girls. So do you guys remember we were doing the mini album that we were designing? Well, I'll go over it. I matted everything, and now I'm gonna cover, like make the cover and the spine and the hinge and all that. So that should be fun. So let me move this out of the way. I'm gonna use pretty heavy duty for the hinge. I didn't know I grabbed two of those. Oh well. All right, so this is what I'm going to use for I'm going to wrap the chipboard in this paper. A lot of times I've wrapped the chipboard in regular cardstock and then I mat it. Hey, Lauren. But today I wanted to wrap it just in the actual pattern paper itself. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So if you remember, we did two that were 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 squares. Oh, yeah. I need to add. Okay, so this is me. This is Zachary, Nicholas, and Jordan. It's our signs, But with Zachary, I've got Lily and Delaney. I need to, do a little like a family tree, do a thing off of him. So I have to do that. Hey, Janet. All right. So these were 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. So what I've done with the size I chose for the actual hinge is obviously 6 3/4 tall, but I went with 2 3/4. Here's how I decide that. I mean, a lot of times for me, 2 3/4 is a good size. So when I do 5 pages, which is almost always, and if I do some embellishment, but not huge amount of embellishment, 2 3/4 will work. But if you want to do like flowers and, a bunch of stuff where it's super chunky, which is so cute, you'd want to do like 3 or 3 1/4 or whatever, even 4 inches I've seen. So anyways, that's how I decide. So now we're going to cover with the pattern paper. So what I've done, I like to have personally, when you put your chipboard down, I like to have 1.5 inches above and 1.5 inches below, 1.5 inches to the right. And then when we lay everything out, I also like to have 1.5 inches over here. So here's how I determine. I know that the height of the album is 6 3/4. So 7 3/4, 8. So it has to be 9 3/4 tall on the paper so that I have 1.5 and 1.5. So 3 inches taller than this. And then for the width, what I do is I say, okay, 6 3/4, 6 3/4 plus 2 3/4. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's like 17.5, 18, right around there. Okay, so all I've done is I took a 12 by 12 that I made the height at 9, 2 of them, and then I just adhered them. Now I can cut this to the width that I want. So I really should think about this for a second and add this up. Let me do this. Oh, that sucks. Sharpie right in the middle of it. Oh my God. Okay, so we've got 6 3/4 and 6 3/4. That's 1.5. So that's 13 1/2 plus another 2 3/4 for the spine. And that will be, let me think for a second, 2 4s, 5 4s. So it'd be 16 1/4 in width. Okay. Plus I need to add 1.5 inches over here and another 1.5 inches over here. So you'd want to add 3 inches for that. So 19 1/4. Okay. So I've got 12 and I need another 7 1/4, but I did overlap slightly. So I'll probably just cut off 8. I'll probably just take like 3 1/2, 4 inches off here. That's confusing, I know. I'm just, I'm sorry. I had to do that for myself. All I'm doing is um, I just want 1.5 inches over here and 1.5 inches over here. That's it. So I'm just going to cut a little bit, a couple inches off here. I hope that makes sense. Oh, somebody from work is interrupting me. They're just gonna have to wait. Okay, sorry about that. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so that's it's not hard. That's all I'm trying to do. I prefer 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, all the way around. So I'm gonna just trim. I'm not gonna trim a lot. I can always go back and cut more. It's better than if I trim too much. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna probably do it this way and just take like 3 inches off, and I think I'll be okay with that. And I may have to trim it up a little bit more. I don't care. It's fine. Okay, so there you go. All right, so this is the piece that I'm working with. So sorry, I've missed some comments. Denise. Everybody knows math. You just need to try. So no one copies her. Oh, that's so funny. All right. So let me go ahead. Now, this is boring. I should have this part done. I'm so sorry, but you'll have to bear with me while I tape these pieces up, and then we'll wrap it. It's super fun and easy. And also, like I mentioned, a lot of times I will wrap with cardstock and then mat with the pattern paper. And sometimes I just wrap with the pattern paper. It is a different look. So it's kind of totally what you're looking for. So yeah, I like to do it that way. And actually, I think with my hinge, I might have a couple pieces of double-sided Chasing Dreams if I ordered any, because if you order them as separate sheets, they're double-sided. And if I do, I could use my hinge just using a piece of pattern paper. But if not, I'll just use regular cardstock. Like, it's so not a big deal. You know what I mean? So I always do the perimeter, and then I just go through, and I probably do too much, but I really want it to be secure, right? So I want it to last. I always look at it as, oh my God, if I'm going to put all this work into a mini album, this sucker's staying. You know? I know, Janet, I'm so excited. Denise. Oh, you're cooking. Yay. Oh, Janet. Oh my God, girl, I'm always inspired by you. Are you kidding me? Denise, you're hilarious when she grabs the ruler. It ain't happening here. But Janet, no, I'm really excited to see like what you come up with. I need to do okay. Truth be told. So I've mentioned before on my channel that when I very first started, I was a mini album. Like, that was the first thing I started making. And so I made a ton of mini albums, and I just kept practicing and practicing. And then I started, like, I would watch tutorials, and that's how I would learn. And then I kind of branched off and just started doing my own designs, because it happens quickly. Once you understand like flippy flaps and stuff, you just start figuring it out on your own, which is really cool. Well, then I started getting pretty elaborate with some things, and they were really neat. Like, I used chipboard, and I made a chipboard box that totally opened flat out with a hinge and had the album inside the box. And I did that all just from chipboard. I mean, I've done all kinds of crazy things. And I feel like you guys probably haven't seen it because that was so long ago, and I haven't like shared some of those, but it'd be fun to show you because the possibilities are endless, and that's what makes me think of Janet, because Janet, you're so creative, and you don't rely on, oh, I have to have a die for this, nothing wrong with that, but she'll just think creatively and cut the stuff, which I like that. So yeah, Lauren, that's why I like buying this size tape, because you have really good control. I just lay it down to where I want it. And with 1/4 inch, I just rip it off, but this is 1/2 inch, it just makes it easier to cut it with the scissors. But if it were 1/4 inch, I would just yank, rip it, you know. But yeah, it does help a lot. Exactly, Janet. Yep. That's what I'm saying is, yeah, you're very good at that, you know. You don't let anything stop you. Like, oh, you know, like a hot air balloon. Oh, nope, I'll just make it. I don't need no stinking dye. It's amazing. So, yeah, and I think a lot of us are like that. You know, like we think, okay, let's think outside the box. What can I, you know, what can I do to make this happen or whatever? But that's why, Janet, I'm really excited about your mini album. It's going to be really pretty, I'm sure. What, if you don't mind, can you oh, the balloon, no kidding, Denise. Janet, if you don't mind, you don't have to. I don't mean to put you in a spot, but if you want, what collection have you even decided, like what collection you'll be using for your album? Are you still thinking about that? Like sometimes I design and don't know yet what, you know, which paper I'm going to use. I just know it's going to be pretty. I keep seeing like I keep seeing all these like fall and Halloween project shares, you guys. I'm like, good God, where am I at? I gotta get caught up with the game here, you know? Cause I haven't even pulled my fall stuff out yet. I haven't even done that. Okay, so next step. Here's what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just burnish down really well that tape so that it's easier to pop off when we're ready. Now, again, I go overboard, so I will be using double-sided tape as well as liquid glue, okay? The next step that I do is I take my ruler, and this is, the width of this is, I think, approximately 1.5 inches. It might exactly be that. So I'm going to draw, I hope you guys can see this. Okay, move that way. I'm going to draw a line across the bottom. This pencil needs to be sharpened. I hope that's working. Nope, it didn't work. What is going on? I've got to sharpen this pencil. Sorry about that. All right, so let me go. Good thing this is on the inside. No one will see it with all these. I've got permanent marker. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I just go across the bottom. And it's not super perfect, but it's pretty good. And then I go to the left side. This is how I do it. Like that. And that's all I do with the ruler. Okay. And the reason why is I'm going to be, hi, Barbara. I'm going to be laying this down. When I put the glue on this, after I rip the tape off, backing off, I'm going to line it up at this very bottom corner where the two lines intersect. And I'm going to go like that. And this is my 1.5 inches on this side. Then going this way, I can line up on the bottom and it'll be good. So I got to pull one other thing really quick. I use 1/4 inch tape in between the cover and the spine, just as like a width guideline is all I do. So you don't have to do that, but it makes it easy for me. So I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get there. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the backing off of this and glue it up. And I really haven't been able to look at comments. Sorry. And you're so sweet. I really don't have collection. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's fun, you know, and you get to pick out colors and patterns and things that you want to use, Janet. So I like doing it like that too. Oh, hi. I started a mini album the last time I was live. As a matter of fact, you guys want to see, I covered it. I matted all the pages. So I'll run through it with you really quick if you want. So if you remember, this was our first page, as if it's going to be inside the cover, you know. So this first page opened up and like that, and we have a pocket, and we used the magnet closure. And then this was our, I got a little bent. I'll have to straighten that out. The page 2. inside of this one, and then page 2. And we got our little corner pockets where we use that border. I can't talk. Border punch. And then this one, oops, it goes this way. Sorry. This one is where we had a flippy flappy, 2 little flaps that go up like this. And then we did 2 that go down. And again, they're magnetized, which is nice. And then here's where we did the swing tab. Remember the swing tab? And I used this pretty, it's like one of those, I don't know if it's resin, you know what I'm talking about, like kind of hard, I think resin. It's a rose, I think. And so and we magnetize this, but you don't have to. And the swing tab opens and then it goes out. Oops, you can't even see it. It goes out like that. And then it goes this way. So that's how we did that page. And then over here, we did, which way is, I think it went like this. We did our waterfall. And I just kept it real simple. I just did all the matting in this like striped paper and just kind of tried to match. So that's how I did that. And then when you flip it over, we have, again, a border edge here. Oh, thank you, Janet. Thanks, Lauren. And then when you open, let me scooch again. When you open it up, you got this area nice for like you could journal and put it on there or put a picture. And then I've just got some tulle. I'll have to fancy that up a little bit. I haven't gotten to that part, but I decided I made a mistake. Okay, I'll show you what it is. This is why I use tulle. So I use tulle as a closure. So it opens like this and it opens like this. What happened was when I was putting my magnet down on the white, I didn't leave enough room. I put it too close. So putting the paper over it, the magnet would have been showing. So at that point, I was like, I already cut the paper. I didn't want to waste it. No big deal. Plan B, just stuck tulle on where did I stick the tulle? Like on the back. Oh yeah, underneath this matting or this matting. There you go. And then you can just tie it. That's what I did. So, but again, you know, you could do ribbon or if you don't screw up the magnets like I did. So that's that side. And then this side is, I want to make sure. Oh my God, I forgot to map that one, but we'll get to it. Let me make sure I did this right because I'm getting confused. I think it goes like this. So this one goes up and then, yeah, and then these go out like this. And then down. And then the back page is just going to have a pocket on the side, you know, like that way with the border punch. And then the back side cover would be there. So we got our pages done. I guess I forgot to map the last one, but that's okay. All right. So let's get moving and put this the front cover down. Oh, good. Thank you. Thanks, Denise. Plan B. Bada bing, bada boom. Who cares? Yeah, thank you all for your thumbs up. I do appreciate it. So nice of you. So I had to run to the post office today. And then I did not want to go to the grocery store. I'm like, I do not want to go to the grocery store. But we have like nothing to make for dinner. So I ended up going and was right on my way home to this. It's called Fairway Meat Market. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have similar places. If you don't have, I don't know if it's a chain or not, but it's perfect because it's very small. You go in there, it's like a butcher, and you just pick out the meat you want, but yet they sell like mushrooms and a few little things. I got it all there. I'm cooking. We're having pasta tonight. I made some good sauce. It's been on the stove for a while coming together. So yeah, there you go. I did not want to go to the regular grocery store. I did not want to mess with it. Okay, so as you can see, I go overboard. But again, it just makes me feel better to know it's going to be really secure. So I put liquid glue. Oh, the other reason I do this is because it will give you a minute to adjust if you need to. So once again, where these two lines intersect, that corner is where this corner is going to go. And you line the side up with the side line and the bottom up with the bottom line. And there you go. Oops, it moved on me a little bit. There you go. Then I usually just take this and kind of, you know, burnish it down a little bit. You're on your way, pasta. Okay, Barbara. Okay, yeah, there's the last live is when I created the pages, and then off camera I matted it, but I wanted to come back on so you guys can see how I do the cover, just so you can, you know, so that you can see what I did there. Now, remember, ooh, remember I said I like a 1/4 inch between the front, the cover, and the spine. You can estimate that, no big deal. But it's just as easy for me to just put down a strip of 1/4 inch tape and just butt it up against the one we've already put down like that. Now we can put this piece down. Sorry, I'm trying to focus. Yeah, Barbara, that might be helpful. And there's also on my channel, if I can remember, I'll link it, but there is a full video of an album from start to finish on, it was called, what was that crepe paper winter collection last winter time? Hey, Chrissy, snow days, snows. Anyway, it's a winter one. God, you can't think of the name of it. Anybody remember that paper that everybody liked last year? It was crepe paper. Was it like snow days or snow? I don't know. Anyway, that was the album I did. And there's a video on there, like not live, just a full video tutorial. So that one's kind of good to watch too, if you're interested. Very similar to this one. See, and I have that 1/4 inch right here. I know it's hard to see because it's white on white, but that's what made it so it's even for me. So I'm going to do that one more time and put another strip of 1/4 inch tape like that. And then we'll put this one down. Okay, I need to make this a little longer. There we go. Hi, Debbie. Oh, Coco and Snow and Coco. Thank you, Chrissy. That is exactly it. I was losing. I hate it when I forget. I couldn't think of that. It's a cute collection. Okay, so we got this one, pulling the tape off. And again, I do the glue to give me a minute in case, you know, because when you put this down with just tape, it's down. So I have that white, it's hard to see, but 1/4 inch tape in my bottom line. So I'm just lining. It makes it so easy this way, you guys, to make it even. It just lines it all up for you. So that's how I do it. Oh, bye, Denise. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be hopping off to finish dinner soon, but I just wanted to get this piece done, the cover done, because I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so let me get rid of this and we'll finish covering it. Get rid of some of my trash. Oh, you're welcome, Janet. Thank you for watching. So the next thing I do is I take my piece. I know it's weird, but I take it and I kind of push up to bend. What I'm doing is I'm bending this bottom piece like this. Okay. And sometimes I use my hands, like the warmth of your hands, and do it to all sides. The reason why is you want to kind of break up those fibers. You want to prevent any cracking on your paper. Okay. So that's why I do that. this side. And then I'm okay. This is a little longer than 1.5 inches. It's fine. It'll still work. Just, I don't need to trim it down anymore. Okay, there we go. And then the next thing I do is I lay down double-sided tape around the full perimeter. Okay. Yeah, Jenny, what you cooking tonight? Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna peel up this 1/4 inches all the way up here. So I'm actually gonna remove that 1/4 inch tape. You don't have to. It would have been fine if you covered it up, but either way. All right, so I typically put this tape not butt up against the chipboard, like maybe, let me see what I do. Like probably about 1/2 inch above is what I do. Okay. And then I'll show you. I flip it and I do the other long side. White rice and chicken. That sounds good. Oh no, I do, Janet. I do. I do the tape first and then I cut it. I'll show you in a minute here. Good question though. Okay, and then I'll do, so again, I'm just going around the perimeter, right? So then I'll just do this side real quick. And then one more side, and then that's when I cut the corners. But you could cut the corners first. It doesn't matter. It's important to do it though. All right, so as Janet said, I want to make sure this is down really good. I didn't burnish super well, so. And then I always go through and kind of burnish the tape. I'm not going to take the tape off quite yet, but I'm still going to burnish it. All right, so as far as the corners go, oh, where are my favorite scissors? They're in the other room. I'll have to use these. Okay, now there are tools that you can go like where they precisely measure it so you know exactly where you're going to cut, or you could certainly like hold, because the whole point is, let me show you this end of this chipboard, you're going to cut off a corner here, and I'll show you why. It's to make it look cleaner, but you don't want to cut it all the way up to the end of the chipboard. You want to leave about 1/8 of an inch so that we can tuck that over so that you don't see the inside of the chipboard when we make the corners. So there are tools to do it. You could use a ruler and sit it out about 1/8 of an inch and draw your line. You could certainly do that, or you could be like me and just eyeball it. Hey, Barbara. So I'm just going to eyeball it, but if you want to measure it, it's whatever works for you. I've done so many of them. I think I just used to eyeballing it, but hopefully I explained that well so that you can see you want a little bit of paper further out from the corner of the chipboard, because we'll have to push that in over the chipboard, and I'll show you here in just a moment. And I've done it before where I didn't leave enough, and I mean, it's okay. It's handmade. We do the best we can do, you know. So, all right. So now it should look like that. All right. So, and this is kind of what Janet was talking about. You cut the corners. Now, here's what I do. Remember, I told you there's a little bit of paper that extends out about 1/8 of an inch further than the chipboard. We're going to push those in to cover up. We don't want that brown chipboard showing through, so we will push it over. But the way I do mine is I first do this side, and I don't do the pushing in of those corners until I do the sides. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start with this top side, and I'm going to pull my backing off of that long strip. And I am also going to be using now the glue. So I use a combination. I put the glue right up against the top of the chipboard, and then I kind of go like this all over. Okay. And then also on this chipboard. Do you see? all the glue. But you do you, whatever adhesive you like. I just am particular about how I do mine. So that it's just everybody has their own way, you know? So then I'm going to really, really burnish this down. And I'm going to have glue oozing out, which I'm okay with. Just means I got it everywhere. Okay. And I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to burnish, burnish, burnish. And when you get to in between the cover and the spine, I just kind of go in like this and burnish, in like that and burnish. And you want to make sure your paper is all the way down. If I see any glue that didn't get all the way to the edge, I will push it down in there because I don't like any lifting, even though if you don't worry about it because you're going to mat it and put paper up to a certain point anyway. So it is okay because you're going to cover the inside. All right. So then I flip it and we're just going to do the exact same thing to this side. If I can get better at undoing my tape, it'd be what is happening. I probably didn't burnish it well. Hold on. There we go. Okay. And then go crazy with the glue like Mary Beth does right here. Two. All right. And then I'm gonna and notice when I pull this paper up, I am kind of doing this. I'm getting the fibers ready still. I don't want any cracking, you know, and that's how I do it. And if your hands, if you have some warmth, you know, in your hands, sometimes that helps. Okay, and then we're going to burnish again really, really, really well. Hi, Kathy. Oh, no worries, Kathy. Okay, now for the corners. So as we were talking about, you can see there's that paper now is folded up a little bit, but you want to push it in so that it goes over the chipboard. And I know that's super duper hard to see, but you basically just take your nail or a bone folder and push it over because you just want those edges covered up with the paper. So now and let me do this side too while I'm doing it. Push it in, push it in. Okay. So now while I'm taking the tape off and stuff, the ends will be put, it gives it a finished look and it covers the end of the chipboard, the corners. And I'll show you here in just a second. Hi, Purple Paisley Planner. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to burnish down really, really well. And then you'll see, yeah, so my corners turned out good. Oh, focus, Mary Beth. So see, you can't see the brown of the inside of the chipboard. The corners are fully covered. Does that make sense? It's one of those things you just have to try and play around with it. And believe me, mine don't always turn out. And like I said, it's okay in the grand scheme. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So it's totally fine. But yeah, so if you can, it just kind of cleans it up a little bit, finishes it, you know, a little bit more. So yeah. Oh my God, I have a question for you guys. You're doing good. I'm doing good too. Thank you. Okay, I'm embarrassed to even say this. You all ready? I am watching Bachelor in Paradise. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm hooked onto that crap. So I don't know if anybody watched it last night, but I'm looking forward to it tonight. Oh my God, I'm a mess. And then I'm just gonna burnish really well. Yes, practice makes perfect. That's right. Like I told you, I've been doing mini albums for a very long time. So if yours doesn't bend this easy, what you do is you take your bone folder and you would kind of burnish and get it to move up. Okay. Mine, I've already kind of worked with those fibers enough. Okay. So there is the cover, right? So far. Now, when I choose a paper, all I'm going to do to finish it is I'm going to choose another piece of pattern paper and I would just cut it to this full length. You know, I'd probably have to have 2 pieces, um, and glue it right on or whatever. Here's the thing. If you want to do, let's say, let's just pretend this is a ribbon. If you wanted to do like a ribbon closure, you would want to put that here first before you cover it, right? Like on this side and on this side. Okay. So that when you cover it, then you have a ribbon that would close it, right? So you want to think about your closure if you even want one. I've made lots of them that didn't need them and I didn't have them, right? So it's just whatever you like, whatever you prefer. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Do you guys, anybody have any questions? You did watch it last night. Jenny, you don't watch it. Can we use that one for? Absolutely, you can. You can use it for whatever you want. Now, these are the pages that are going to go inside when I make the hinge. I have made recipe. Hold on. Let me see if I have it. Oh, yep, I got it right here. Hold on. What I did for a recipe thing, you could certainly do a mini album with, you know, different like interactions and whatever, and you could put your recipe cards. But what I found that worked well for me was I mean, I wouldn't call it a real traveler's notebook, but it's kind of based on that. And so I laminated it because then if it's in the kitchen, you know what I mean? It's laminated. And then, you know, I've got like little pockets. And then I did dividers so that you could have like appetizers, you know, entrees, desserts, sides, whatever. Like I did 4 different ones. And I did different things. Like I have envelopes in here, paper, you know, that I sewed in, well, hand. I didn't use sewing machine. And different pattern paper and copy paper, just different stuff, like little inserts, right? And I did that for each one of them and little pockets. And this I think would be a good thing for like a recipe journal book because you could write your recipes. You could certainly, you know, cut them out, glue them in, whatever, make some cute ones, whatever you want. Hey, Mark, you haven't made, no, Kathy, I have not made the hinge yet. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Jenny. So I don't know if that helps you, LAS, on your question, but for me personally, I think something like this would maybe work better as a full-blown like recipe book thingamajigger, but you certainly can do an album like I'm doing. That's absolutely fine. It's whatever you want. So yeah. All right. So there's that. And then going back here. So what I'll probably do, how about this? Because, you know, I got to make my husband finish making his dinner. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a pattern and just cover this. That's simply all I'm going to do. I will come back on, you know, probably after Bachelor in Paradise. Come on, let's be real. Oh, thank you, Mark. And then what I'll do is I'll make the hinge on camera. I'll go live again. Because I know a lot of people, like, that's a hard thing to grasp sometimes. It's really not hard once you do it. And like Jenny says, practice makes perfect, you know, but I've watched, when I first started making albums, I watched so many videos on this hinge thing. And I was just getting so confused. And so finally, when I figured it out, I kind of got it down and I try really hard to explain it really good. And I've done it in, my mini album that I was talking about, Snow and Cocoa, that I'll try to remember to link to this so that you can watch it there too if you want. But I'll come back on hopefully tonight and we'll do the hinge together. So hopefully that sounds good to everybody. So yeah, I will. All right, everyone. Well, have a great night. And hopefully I'll be back on later tonight. We'll do the hinge and we can finish up and put this thing together. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.